What a beautiful day. Let's go do a garden tour. The beginning of March. Spring is almost here, though I think it's here. And we have been busy as a bee. Gary's been doing all kinds of painting. He doesn't have to tell me he's been painting. Let's put it this way. His dog told me he was painting. And I have been working all over here just to get ready for spring. That will be here in a matter of weeks before we know it. So what'd you find? Is spring almost here? Look. Hi, it's Robbie and Zoe from Southern California, trying to get this done before the sun comes all the way up. Is this not beautiful this morning? Now, I'm going to admit to you, I haven't done too much in the bird garden because I am working all over the place. I'm doing seeds, I'm doing trimming. Oh, look, the lemon verbena is coming back. I was worried. This is lemon verbena and this is pomegranate. So we are now March 1st. In a few more weeks, we're going to have spring. So let's walk quickly through the bird garden and then we can get outside and see what else is going on. And we'll just chit chat as we walk through. Is this not gorgeous? This I eat every day. Look at this. And then I also use all the leaves. This is the most versatile plant. But let me tell you something on that. This is your compost. And you can use this for compost. You could use this for your health as far as eating it. You could shred it up. I put it in all kinds of things. Eggs, soup, stew, whatever. You fry it up with a little bit of butter. It's so good, but this is massive. I'm afraid that as we start to get warmer, and that is like in the summer, yeah, it would be summer, this plant will die back. See, now this has got a lot of powdery mildew. Though you could wash it off and eat it, I tend to drop that back. But see all that? Back here, yellow? This is not a joke. This is gold. And this will feed my poor little moringa here. We'll load the top up. Oh, look, it's coming from the bottom. You know what I should do? I should trim this, let it all come up. Look at all the new growth and start it over. Kind of like this because I'm using it for perch. Let's walk quickly through the bird garden. Red vein sorrel. I have more than I know what to do with. This is Hummingbird's lunch. I keep propagating. There's a new one I propagated. You know what this is in? Let's look, this is funny. See the ground? There is so much seed here. And Gary was like, oh, we got to rake this up. We do. And I grow in it. And the soil, let me see if I can show you. Look at this. I know, right in your face. Oh my goodness. You weren't supposed to run over. It's so fluffy and it holds water perfect that I'm shoveling all this up, raking it up, loading it in pots, and I'm growing milkweed for the butterflies and everything in it. So many plants. So I'm using all the holes, Hulles, for soil. You know, like you would use perlite, vermiculite, or kitty litter. I'm using the holes from the seeds, which is working out great. Let's turn around. Let's see what's here. Just all the flowers growing. This is a cutting. It's a salvia I did. This is the pineapple salvia. This is what we bought. Almost lost this plant. So I put different plants around it because the sun was beating on it and it brought it back. It needs a good trimming. Oh, I've got marigold seeds here. Jeez. Wonder why marigolds are growing there. But this here, these totes here are 9 to 10 years old now. Amazing. And they're going strong and they're doing good. This needs a good trimming because you could barely get through. Let's do a quick walk through here so we can see the rest. So what is really going on is I'm maintaining the yard. Want to change up a little bit of the feeders because we have so many wild birds. You only want to do a little bit at a time. You don't want to scare the birds because when they come in and see something different, they go, whoa, what happened? So I would go through and change some of the feeders and that will be okay. I'm going to kind of situate them in different places. This is great. As you saw, this one doesn't even drop much. Oh, and milk cartons. Don't forget to keep those. Cut the tops off, make a hole, and you can grow plants like walking onions, regular onions, garlic, herbs, whatever you want. In here too, the zigzag is kind of starting to tumble down. Can you see that? There's one that fell there. So I want to change that so I can see my water fountain in the back. Do you see the bird there? I can't see as much because some of it is coming loose. So I'm going to change that up. My problem is right now, I am working as far as starting seeds. I am going to buy some starts when I get to the store. the nursery. I'm going to do tomatoes. I have a few tomatoes starting, but I'm really working on peppers right now. That will be the main thing. Tomatoes, it's a little early. And you would say, wait a minute, you're in spring, you're here in Southern California. The problem is I'm looking at the plants growing outside and they get fuzzy. Oh, I love listening to the birds sing. When they get that white fuzz, that means we had too much humidity in the morning. So I think it's a little early to put some of them outside. I don't know what's back there. Might be there's a warbler back there and there's a little bush tit there. I don't know if you can see it. All kinds of birds. We have over 50 species of birds in this yard and it's unbelievable. This was a plain nothing yard. Years ago, it was literally to the ground. You couldn't grow anything because it's just hard clay. And look what it's built up to. And you think, okay, a lot of it is in pots. That's right. These containers we picked up so many years ago, the white ones, those were dog kennels from a pet store. And my daughter was working at a pet store years ago then, so she wasn't even married. So think of how far back that goes. And she called me and said, you better get over here now. It's a monarch butterfly. Because they're cleaning out the grooming room and they threw them all by the dumpster and they don't want them. Gary ran down there, took everyone home. It's kind of a fiberglass. And we don't put dogs in dog kennels. And we ended up using them for growing. And Gary's got them and I've got them. But we did do that. We started to plant. I was buying a lot of potting mix. I got it real cheap once. I went to Walmart and had 75 cents a bag. I've told that story. I'll briefly tell you, but I want you to see this. Remember I told you if I don't get that off, it's going to fall? Well, it did. And now I've got to get a lot of cuttings off, even though I don't really need it, because look at these two. But I'm starting to put new ones down, so they'll do pretty good. So I'm going to put all new brassicas through here. These are tree collards before I lose that one. And at some point, we're going to chop it, and then it will grow. It's already starting new growth through there. It'll grow from the base. But anyways, I was walking in the Walmart. As you can see, we're just going to walk through because I've got a lot of things going on here. I've got compost tea. And why am I making compost tea? And I've got to get rid of this today. That really makes the flowers grow. And I've been throwing it in here. And this too, remember this was nothing more than a seedling? Look at that. They love compost tea. It's just coming from the leaves in the garden. But I was walking in the Walmart and I looked over and it said 75 cents. This is many years ago. This is before this looked like this. I said to the guy, 75 cents? And he goes, yeah. They were small bags of Miracle-Gro. Okay, so I went shopping, come back out. The guy's still standing there. Look at all this. Look how big this is. This one's falling over. I got to get this planted. Look, 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 look. Look. So I come back out and I look at the Miracle-Gro sitting there. Again, no garden here. And I said, 75 cents a bag, huh? And he goes, yep. So I'll tell you something. I'm going to take a whole bunch. I grab a cart. I start loading up my cart. People look at me who are walking in the Walmart. And now there's a massive fight. They're grabbing carts. They're pushing each other over. A lady dropped her cart onto the ground. And they went nuts grabbing. Within minutes, everything was gone. Now, I did come home with about 40 bags at 75 cents. But the point was, there was probably double that. But as soon as I showed an interest, you know, somebody walking by, it was so funny. Everybody wanted. So that was the funniest thing. But that's what got me started. They were little bags. They were only, they weren't even 1 cubic foot. But it didn't matter for 75 cents. I think they were 0.75. It got me started and it lasted me for years. Here's the papaya, look. All new flowers on the top there. So we'll have papayas. They're growing really nice. So that's how I started with, because I didn't have anything. If you don't have anything, you'll have to buy this, you know, your own soil or start making your own. But once you start, it doesn't matter. This is soil. Look what's in here. All leaves. Everything is leaves and branches. Anything that I'm not going to eat goes back in. It doesn't matter if it's just starting to turn yellow. It doesn't matter if it's half eaten. If you're not going to eat it, start piling it and then take a little of anything from the ground and put it on top. If you put it on top, the microbes come from underneath. And if you dig around, especially around any type of pot, So anyways, that's how I started here with absolutely nothing here. And in a matter of a few years, I had a garden, I had birds, I had everything. She thinks I'm going to pick her up and take her out, but we're not. Going to leave you here. So that is what's going on in the bird garden. I'm still propagating here. This is just bursted into life. I've got to get cuttings off of this. This is a scented geranium and smells like carrots. Let's take a peek over here, and then I'm going to get her in the house. I'm going to get her in the house. She says, I'm going to stand by your foot, and I'm going to step outside with you. Is that not beautiful? I am very fortunate to have this. And the only reason I have this, all of this, is because this was bought in the 80s, the first, and that really does help when the property was low and nobody wanted to be out of the city. Everybody wants to be in the hustle and bustle. Not me. Oh, look at all my zinnias. They're all flowering. Could use some compost tea here. All right. So that is what's going on now. The sun is starting to go above the trees. Let's get out, do a quick walk through, because I want to get back. And you know what I want you to tell me as we're walking through? Put your comments underneath. What videos will help you? Do you want to know on seed? Do you want to know on propagating? Do you want to know on soil? Do you want to know on making, because we're on the free, making free soil, free compost tea, free fertilizer. I will go through them, and then I can direct my focus on different videos on things like that. Because a lot of times I come out here and start doing things, and then I don't even talk about it because I think you're not interested. But if I see comments, then I'll know, well, if somebody said that, that must mean other people are interested in it too. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about what we need to do so we can grow some more food on the free. And that's what we're going to do. Look at this. Is that not gorgeous? And that's just propagated in that pot. All right, let's go outside and walk around the yard. So now we're in the backyard. Oh my goodness, I love sitting back here. Okay, so the dog is barking. He can see me when I come through here. He's their watchdog, and he can see me through the pepper tree. But anyways, let's just keep walking here. This is rosemary. Look how big it can get. Keep that in mind if you're in an area where you can grow it all year long, because it does beautiful here, and the citrus are unbelievable. Let's keep walking. I want you to understand that what I'm doing right now is working a lot on my deck and maintaining. I am going through and starting to redo the totes. I don't have to empty them. You don't have to do that every year, but you want to make sure that everything is going through the drainage holes. So when you hit it with water, it's going into the soil and anything left goes out. Now you can raise those holes up so you can have a reservoir of water underneath, especially if you're in the desert area, you're in a drier area, so your plants can forage for water by going down to the bottom. This one's pretty much done. There's a lot of layering that will come out of this. I haven't done that. I started to, but it's already looks like it can be redone. This was redone. It's got a lot of new cuttings. See, this is actually in a pot. I may or may not move it. These are pepinos. This is going to go. This will go into the butterfly garden when I'm ready. My goal here in the rainbow garden is get my herb garden back again the way I want. I'll trim down the basil and get all that down. This is the basil that's died back. I did lose my oregano. Maybe root bound, but there's the oregano here. Isn't that something? This is oregano, so I can get this out, get it in a pot. So I'll take pieces out, bring that back. This pepper's old, it's from last year. You know, you really shouldn't leave peppers on. When you leave peppers on, it kind of does hurt the plant because the plant thinks it produced seed. This is a weed. It shouldn't even be there. So we can take that out. Though I do leave a lot of the different thistles around for the birds. I want to move some of this around. That's just a walking onion. I've got sage in here. So this will be cut back like I said. And then I've got different types of mints. I'm going to be very selective. There's a lot of different mints and herbs that I happen to not like and Gary doesn't like. So why grow it when you're not going to use it? So I'm going to be more selective on that this year. And then here, I probably will leave the Hummingbirds lunch in there. It's a cutting I put in there years ago because I like it. I sit out here and I watch the Hummingbirds feed on it all day. But all these I'm going to redo. And this is the irrigation tubing I use. I love this. It's so cheap. I may go ahead and refix this up. We'll see, because I grew a lot of watermelon in here one year. think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was all full of watermelon. Multiple plants in each tote. Leave that. And then from here, I'll do squash and different things. But I do want the butterfly garden designated against the wall. You know, we can go over here instead. This is where I have the butterfly garden. It starts where that pole is, that cement block. Well, it actually spread over a little bit there, but some of those are going. And then it goes across. And this is where we have monarchs everywhere. Have to trim a lot of this bit down, though I am leaving it because there's so many caterpillars right now. And then I will get more in here. I'll kind of go through and see what's doing good and what's not. Look at the mustard. Unbelievable. All winter grew here. So this is a cannas with a yellow flower. And see, some of them don't have much in there, which is okay, these empty pots, because it feeds this one. So if I go through, take these leaves off, you could do this too. You could do it in a small version if you have a small container garden. Throw that there and push it in the soil. That becomes your instant fertilizer that constantly feeds the plant next to it. But I probably will put something there instead. And I will be selective and go through here and see which should go and which should not. But this is where the butterfly garden right now ends. I don't know if I'm going to extend it. And the reason is we have so many monarchs, hundreds, that I am thinking of one other thing I'm going to tell you that's exciting for me. So all in all, the dog kennels are doing good. I haven't touched it. I don't even think I've gone inside for almost 2 weeks. I think Gary goes in there. He grabs some peppers. He grabs mustard growing in there. I've got a big tomato plant. Very sunny here, so it's doing really good. Probably will keep that. And when I get in here, it's going to be like bam. If you want me to take you with me, I'll see if I can do that with you because it's a little narrow. But this I will redo. Now, I am going to be changing this. I probably will put the door on this side because I'm going to leave these for now. What is growing in here? See, I have squash seeds in here. No squash seeds came up. But these are all brassicas. Tomato. And that is what can grow really good now. Now this, oh, I've got a snail in here. Look at that. I thought it was wet. It's snail. This is potato. So I got potatoes growing in there. A lot of that came up from the compost I put in there, but I did drop in a few extra potatoes I had around here. Nothing yet, but look at all the seeds growing. There's not even any soil in here. It's just all compost right now. Things are trying to grow in between. If they blow in there, see, there's nothing in there. Now I can top this with anything from the ground and start growing. And if I do decide to extend this dog kennel this year, we want to open this up, I can move it. Remember, all these containers, free soil, not just free soil. You go to the store, we're going to have to talk about soil. Some of the soil is not that good. You'll start to grow in it. Oh, we'll have to talk about that again because I know a lot of you are new. And you'll think you did something wrong and it won't be your fault. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm probably going to put the door there and change this just a little bit. But all in all, everything else will stay the same. And Gary did tell me, my voice is very dry this morning, that I can have this. So I'll be doing something with this, but I don't know what. Let's keep walking over here. Okay, I'm almost done on the wall back there. I've done almost all the totes going across, almost to the chair. So that's been a big accomplishment because like I said, I'm working on my deck. I'm working on different areas and I'm doing a lot of grooming because anything I groom, all the leaves become part of my garden and that's what saves me money. I wouldn't be able to afford to go out and buy a bunch of, I hear something. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go out and buy a bunch of bags of soil. It cost me thousands of dollars. I haven't even bought a bag this year. I don't know if I will. Last year, I think I bought a couple bags, but that was it. So I don't know. We'll see as I go, but all those are done and that one's done. So I have 2 or 3 left here. Then I'll come out here and decide what I'm going to do here. Kind of depends on what I want to grow in these 4 totes. And same thing with the one on the ground. I have an old moringa in there still. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do. I just love my nasturtiums that came up. And if I go in here, I'll be pulling them all out. There is another way. If I want to leave the nasturtiums, Okay, they're in the bucket. I can layer, and that might be a way to go. And then I'll get to there. And this is where I'll have to step back and decide if I want to extend the butterfly garden. So that's what's going on here. This is the exciting thing I have to tell you. Let's take a walk over here. Look at the birds. Oh, they're building a nest. Oh, she's got branches in her mouth. They built a nest in this last year, and they're going to build another nest. So I have to be careful when I'm watering. See how green that is? I've been watering it, but she gets behind it and she has a nest of babies. They're building. Oh, I wish I would have gotten that. She's up there. Okay, so now we know that she's already started her nest. Sorry about my throat. I just had coffee and I don't know why it's so dry. This has gone wild and I've left it. Do you know what happened now? I've got all these grasses growing for the birds to come eat. I've got all this stuff I stuck around, the geraniums, the rosemary, the elephant food. This is a pomegranate tree. I've got a frog. I have a frog. I can't believe it. I have a frog. I come out at night and I sit here and I listen to him. We think, I gotta get a camera on him. Remember, it's gonna be very tiny. We think he's back here. We think he's underneath there, but we haven't seen him. So I wanna get more plants. I gotta raise the water a little bit. And I wanna make sure he can easily go in and out because I have not had a frog here. So this is all new. Oh my goodness, I know Gary said, I don't have a frog yet in my garden. He will, but the frog is here. So I want to kind of fix it up, but I don't want to disturb too much going on. Now he was going to drain the bathtub and turn it into a planter, and we still might, but he's got so much going on there. I'm not going to do anything right now, unless I decide to come out here and drain it and do it myself. But right now I'm going to leave it, and then I've got pomegranate there. So this would be a really nice planter, and then just keep the two ponds because see, they can get in and out easily. You can't get in and out there. This has been amazing. Oh, there's my little horsefly, my carpenter bee. And then here again, the pomegranate tree is bursting into life. I'm not walking down to Gary's garden today. A little bit ago, I walked out here and he jumped in his truck because he's moving things down in his garden. And he took off and went down the hill. So he's down there working, and we'll probably go down there in the next week or so, just to kind of take a peek and see what's going on. I'm gonna leave this because the birds can nest in there, though I will layer and put other things. And right now I'm collecting, look at that, my pot marigold flowers. It all started with one plant here, and look at all the seeds that came up. These are all seedlings, and now there's throwing flowers. They're really easy to propagate because even when they start to pull off to the side, they'll root. And you can, a lot of times, just sit them in some soil. They'll get a little bit of roots, and then you can go ahead and put them in another pot. I've got them on the deck now. I've got them everywhere. Isn't that beautiful? They do need water, so I have to keep hitting them with water, but that is gorgeous. Notice they have a lot of shade, but there's a lot of sun over there, and that's probably why they're doing so good here, because they're getting that shade, but then in the afternoon they get a lot of sun. And then, like I said, this is just a geranium that went wild, and this is what I really like leaving for the birds. The goldfinches feed on this, bush tits, all the little birds feed on that. And then of course the flowers, the bees feed on that. And then you've got other things that are eating the tops, and that could be the birds too, because they eat the greens as well. So I have not done anything here at all. And then all these weeds on the ground, again, free soil. I just pick them and then I go ahead and throw them in the containers and grow. I'm hoping to get to this within the next couple weeks. It gets a lot of sun. I want to straighten all this out and figure out what's going to stay and what's going to go. The cannas have to go. They're way too big. Those red flowers, they have broken the tote. So they are definitely have to go because they're busting this up. This is a big plant with a big root system. I'm going to collect a lot of seeds. You really are supposed to scarify them by scratching them, but you can put them in hot water, leave them soak overnight, and then throw them in soil and they'll grow. That's another way of doing it. That's what Gary told me. And then I've got different sorrows. The tomato plants, I'm going to pull them out. Sometimes dealing with tomato plants that are a year or 2 years old, you're struggling, where you can get a nice new plant and it will grow much better. So I'm going to get those out. These have to be moved, all these geraniums. I put the pots in, kind of like that. And then, oh, there's a Canna in here. I must have stuck it in there, but see, something's chewing on it. But I just stick little pieces in there, and then look how they root. They propagate on their own. This is a beautiful celery I put in there. But again, it's red, so I'll see what I'm going to do with it, but it's not bothering anything, so that's good. And don't forget, all these leaves, you want to put them back. But I have to redo all these totes, and that will be the first thing. And then that's basically it. We kind of walked around. Look at the nectarine tree. I didn't trim it. I wanted to trim it this year, and I never got to it. It might be too late. I'll see if it's too late to do that, because I wanted to kind of trim it back. I usually get 50 to 100 nectarines on this little tray, so we'll see. I still have a lot in the freezer. That needs water. That is a sage, and what else? And then these are my apple trees. They're not quite old enough. I don't see any flowers on them. I was hoping for flowers, but look at the hummingbird. Oh, maybe they're trying to tell me they're feeder. Look at this. Do you want to see? Hold on. Can you see it? He might be trying to tell me that his feeder is empty. I checked before I stepped out, and there were a lot of them had food. But again, they're like people, you know, your favorite seat at a restaurant. If your favorite feeder is empty, they'll come look for me like, hey, the other ones have food, but this one doesn't. I like that one. So I'll have to check that in a minute. But all in all, we're doing good. It's just, it's a lot of work for one person. You think, well, you've got Gary. Here's the thing. Gary made it very clear to me. If you want to keep expanding like this, I cannot help you. Because he's got his own stuff. He's got work, he's got his garden. I've got work and gardening. So I'm okay as long as you can understand I have to go at my pace. Oh, you know, I'm going to show you this. This tomato plant is beautiful. The most beautiful tomato plant right now on the property. Look at the flowers. And I know there's tomatoes on here. I saw them. Do you know what's in here? You would never even be able to guess. The neighbor gave Gary a couple buckets of llama manure. There is no soil in there. It is pure llama manure. He brought home the buckets. He dumped it in there. He wanted to keep it separate from the wood chips and everything. And this is the old horse manure now. That's what? It's about 2 years old now. That's what it's growing in, without any soil. If you went and bought a bag of potting mix and dumped it in there, you wouldn't get these results. And that we'll have to talk about in a separate video, because I think there's a lot of things about soil that you buy that a lot of people may not understand. Besides it being just wood chips broke down and very little other matter, they put other chemicals in there, and they don't have to list it. But again, that's another video, or I'll be here for another 30 minutes. And then I never got to all the turmeric and the ginger. Anything that has this color label, this is ginger. If it's got a pink label, it is turmeric. The thing is, I took a peek, and they look really good underneath. So as long as they look good and they're not rotting, I'm not too worried. Now that whole table's done. Everything's been harvested and it's being stored. So there's nothing in any of these. I can go ahead and plant back anytime. But these I'm going to have to get to because they're going to be full. I've tipped some and it is just packed. So I'll see what I can take my time. It's not going to kill the plant, but it's going to be so packed that it's going to need more room. So as time goes on, I might come over and say, hey, I'll do this one, I'll do that one. And then I'll get to the turmeric that way. And I usually harvest it and eat most of it. And then I keep a couple pieces. This is a cutting. Is this not beautiful? And it's growing in the pot with the turmeric. So I'll have to break that off and get this in a bigger pot and get to my turmeric there. This is another cutting. This is all propagating in a little pot. Look how beautiful. Here's another one. You want to propagate at the same time that you're growing. Why not? So you got two things going on and there's no work. Look at this. all this just by taking some pieces. Uh-oh, I'm caught on something. There I am. And now with spring coming, they're just blooming beautiful. And I didn't do any work out here other than hit it with water once in a while. So that's what's going on. I'm going to go in and have breakfast. The sun is finally up and I'm pleased. I will take my time, but there's days I went out there and I just started working against the wall. Now I'm tearing apart my deck because the Orioles have come back. Yes, they came back the other day and they are here and they are screaming for food. So I have to change a lot of my feeders around and try to move the Orioles over. If I don't, they bother the hummingbirds. So I've got that going on all day. Plus, like I said, I have things I have to do. Let me jump in here for a minute and show you the front yard because I haven't done that for probably a month or two. Now the front yard is doing its own thing. So I haven't touched it probably in weeks, but I will get to the table because that's going to be a big asset to me as far as growing radishes, maybe little carrots, beets, bok choy, lettuce, all kinds of stuff, even maybe small herbs. And then I've got my look at this, the finger line back here, it's being smothered by this. So I'm going to, actually it may like that because look how green the leaves are. They don't like full sun. It's not growing, into it, it's just growing on it. So I might leave that, but the back here, I haven't done anything in the front yard. Back here, nothing. So I'm just kind of leaving it because that for the past couple years, the birds come in here and they nest in all the geranium. And that's really good for them. They can get deep inside, build a nest. And then I do want to put something in the back. I had some brassicas. This might be a nice place to stick brassicas. But if they don't get enough sun, then they will get a lot of insects. But you know what? That's a good thing for the birds. So maybe I'll just do that. But untouched, but yet everything is still green because all I'm doing is hitting it with water. And the brassicas are already going to seed, which is a really good food source for a lot of the birds around here and beneficial insects. They love this. It will go to seed. It will have flowers, bringing nectar to a lot of birds around here and beneficial insects and butterflies. And then it will go to seed and a lot of the small birds will eat that. But I am going to change it up regardless. I have 2 tables I'm going to use, that one and that one. And that is what's going on in the front yard. This is all Gary's stuff. He moves this into his garden. I rarely take any of this. This is the horse manure. These are different piles of wood chips. One of them was delivered a couple years ago already now, but he also has a chipper now. So he goes around and he trims. Remember, like I always say, all that growing on top, we don't take care of it. We don't maintain it. The only thing he does is he grooms it. If something gets too big, branches look like they're not doing good or they're dying off, he just goes, lops them off, throws them down here and chips them. Nobody's feeding them. Nobody's watering them on any of these plants. And that's the way nature grows. All those plants, you know what all that is? That's wild geranium. Apparently you can't move it. It finds places it can grow. It likes a certain amount of sun and a certain amount of shade. It likes growing under trees. I've tried moving them and they die back. So I just leave them. They've spread. Gary runs them over when he drives down. But it's just, you put things where they're happy and they grow and you don't have to knock yourself out putting out a lot of money. If you want to buy a lot of product for your vegetable garden, your flower beds, your flower pots, you do it. But if you don't, and you don't have the money, and you really want to grow, I'm telling you without a doubt, you can do just as good as the person that's putting out a lot of money by doing it the way nature does. So ask your questions, what kind of small videos. I'm trying to take you with me as I work. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got something on the deck I need to change for the Orioles. I'll take you with me on that. Whether you'll ever use what I'm doing, I don't know, but I do know you may get ideas. You want me to keep working out here and recording different totes I'm doing or different flower beds or what I'm doing in the pond, tell me. I'll read through that, and if I see that, I'll go ahead and try to get as many recordings as possible, because a lot of times I come out here and I do something and I think, who's going to be interested? I'm going to bore you to death. And then I find out oh, well, she pinched that flower a certain way. I didn't know that's what you're supposed to do. Did you know you're supposed to take these flowers off, the dead ones? And did you know there's a certain way to do it? Sometimes what I take for granted, other people don't know and want to know. So if you throw those questions out for me, it will educate me to tell you things that I just don't even think about and do as second nature. So with that, I'm going to go have breakfast. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. I love hearing the birds sing.